Hope you are doing wonderful. Let us maintain the same pace of studying and learning which we are doing since last 4-5 days. In the same series and continuation, I am here with the next topic of this chapter, that is features of management. Till now, we have already discussed what is management and what are the functions it incorporates into it. And then today we are going to discuss features of management. As you can see, basically management has 7 different features. Number 1, it is a goal-oriented process, it is all-pervasive, it is multidimensional, it is continuous process, it is a group activity, it is an intangible force, and it is dynamic function. Why I want you to remember all these points by heart, because whether you refer NCERT or you refer any side book, what is the most important element from the board perspective? That is remembering the points as it is, remembering the features as it is. And every book, including NCERT, has their keywords, has its keyword for each and every heading which is being discussed here. So it is most important to know the headings and the keywords in it by heart. So today we will be discussing all those keywords which are required for the better understanding or a better answer scripting of a particular question. Let us start. The very first point says management is a goal-oriented process. The meaning of the word goal is the aim, objective, target or end result for which any managerial activity strives for. It is a goal-oriented process, which means under management, the efforts of each and every individual has been united, has been transformed and translated into a meaningful activity to achieve the organizational goal. The word oriented means it leads toward. This whole process of management leads the entire management and the member therein towards the achievement of goal. Therefore, the keyword under it is management is a goal-oriented process because it unites the effort of different individuals in the organization for the achievement of common objective. Coming to the next, that management is all-pervasive. The word pervasive here means which is common to all. Management is such a common phenomena. Whether you take an example of any organization, be it a hospital, be it a school, be it a college, be it a restaurant, be it a home, everything requires a proper management of their activity. So it is written, it is all pervasive, which means it is a common activity. There is no such place from where you can delete the concept or the importance or the role of management. So we can say that management is all pervasive, that is, it is applicable to all the organization, whether the organization is an economic organization, a social organization or a political organization. So don't be in the confusion that management is only and only applicable to the economic system or the business activities. No, it is equally applicable to all non-business activities too. Then it is also applicable to every level. The word level is very new and this word has been incorporated and you are hearing this word for the very first time. So for you this is one of the most important word. In the next class we'll discuss about the levels of management. Management altogether has 3 different levels: top level, middle level and lower level. So all the 3 levels have their different roles to perform under the entire concept of management. So management is all pervasive, that is, it is applicable in all the organization, no matter whether the organization is economic, social or political, and at every level of managerial activity, be it top level, middle level and lower level. Coming to the next, management is a multi-dimensional activity or it is a multi-dimensional force. The word multi means many. Mainly has three major dimensions. Number one is the management of work. Number two is the management of people. Number three is the management of operations. Now let us see what it is all about. Management of work is what? Management of work means the total task, the total objective which we have already decided under the process of planning while setting our goals and objective. The total work has to be divided into smaller routine tasks. Like for example, if you want to score 100 in business studies, so it will not happen in a day. You have to plan at least 2.5 hours wise investment of your time every day in the subject called business studies. Which means you have translated your total objective of scoring 100 into a everyday task of 3 hours investment of your productive investment of your time into studying business studies. So this is what is multi-dimensional force. The very first dimension is work. So the total work has to be wisely translated into task. Work is an overall agenda, whereas task is a routine thing which happens every day. It's a smaller version of work. Coming to the next, that is management of people. People are considered in two different ways in any organization. Number one, people as an individual, and number two, people as group. We join any organization as an individual. So when we join an organization as an individual, what can we see? We join an organization with different needs. Somebody wants to invest their time, somebody wants to earn pretty well, somebody wants to live their passion. So everybody has different diversified need, and for fulfilling those needs we go and we join any of the workplace. But what happens once we join any organization? All our individual needs, all our individual wants gets converted into a group activity, because then there we cannot prioritize our need over and above the needs of the organization. So what are we supposed to prioritize? Organizational needs are always at the priority, which leading to which our own needs, our own desires are get fulfilled. So what you can see is management of people is what? A manager has to handle the group of people with different individual needs. The manager has to handle the group of people with different individual diversified need. So this is how a manager at a time is managing the task, the total work along with task, and people as an individual, also as group. The third important direction, or you can say dimension of this management is management of operations. Now what is operations? Operations are the different functional areas of management. Now what do we mean by functional areas of management? The functional areas of management are production, finance, HR, marketing, research and development, etc. etc. An organization once divide its total work into different tasks in different units. This brings a lot of help and specialization in fulfilling the different area, and monitoring of the work also becomes easier for the organization. So the management of operations says the different department has to manage their inputs, and they have to make sure productive utilization of their resources as input, so that the consumption need, the final output, should equally and also be productive. Right? Coming to the next, that is management is a continuous process. Continuous, the word continuous means never ending. Management is such a process which ends, from where does it start and where does it get end, we cannot identify it in real life. Now picturally or technically we can discuss it, but how is it happening, we can only sense it, we cannot picturize it. Like there is a concept of a managerial cycle. What is a managerial cycle? It starts from planning. We plan, we organize or execute, we arrange human resource, that is staffing, we give them instructions, that is directing, and we then ultimately control the goal so that it matches the final plan which is designed under planning. This topic, this whole functions of management, I have discussed in my previous video. So if you have not seen it, if these terms are new for you, I recommend you to go and see where I have discussed about all planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling, so that you can have a better understanding of all these concepts here by now. So I said that management is a continuous process. So continuous means it is never ending. It has a series of planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. So once a plan gets control and the actual results are being matched and deviations are analyzed, we call it as a one managerial cycle which is completed. Right? So management is a continuous process. So all these functions are revolving right one after another. Coming to the next, management is a group activity. What do you mean by a group? Just now we have discussed that is management of people. Group activity means what? No managerial activity can take place in isolation. We for sure required variety of people with different skills, with different ideology, with different creativity and innovation. So what a manager is supposed to do? A manager is supposed to utilize the skill and the talent of the group and translate the individual talents to make the organization a successful unit. So group activity here means management helps to translate individual needs, individual talents into organizational objective. Therefore, it helps to achieve organizational goal altogether. Coming to the next, that is intangible force. You have already heard this word many times, tangible and intangible. Intangible means something which we cannot see. So management is intangible. Why? Because we cannot see management. Can you see management here? But this whole class is a whole proof example of a management skill. How? Because and why? Because you can, the key word for understanding a successful management leads to happy and satisfied employees. The work are all done properly, everything is in order, everybody working in organization seems to be happy and the workforce is equally satisfying. So when you see the employees are happy and satisfied, which means there is a presence of management, because it cannot be, we cannot see management. ये कोई चिड़िया नहीं है जिसको आप देख सकते हैं. Its presence can only and only be felt through these ways. Coming to the very last feature of management, that is management is a dynamic function. The word dynamic has a great relationship with environment. We will talk about it now. Dynamic means ever changing. There's one very famous quote: if you don't adapt, you cannot endure. Which means if you don't accept the changes happening in the environment, you will never be able to excel. The perfect example of this dynamics of environment is the present situation. Anybody who is not embracing the technology will become obsolete very soon. So if you don't want to become obsolete, you have to embrace the technology as soon as possible. So here, dynamic, the word dynamic means the feature of management being dynamic is there are different environment dimensions like internal and external environment. So internal environment is quite manageable and any manager can successfully monitor, manage and control the internal environment. But the environment which is beyond the scope of a control of a manager is external environment. I have abbreviated it through PESTEL, that is political, economic, social, technological and legal. I repeat it again: political, economic, social, technological and legal. So these are the external dimensions of an environment, which means if any change pertaining to this external factor, this is going to affect the overall internal management and the overall process of management. So management creates or makes the organization a dynamic one. only and only with the help of management. Any change in the environment can be accepted. So let us do a very quick revision of all that which we have discussed. The very first function or the very first feature of management is it is a goal-oriented process. That is, all the objectives are being translated, and objectives can be achieved by uniting the effort of different individuals. It is all-pervasive, which means it is common for all the organization, whether the organization is a profit-making or non-profit-making organization, and it is similarly at the same time applicable to every level, be it top, middle or lower level. Management is a multi-dimensional force, which means at the same time a manager is supposed to handle three different dimensions. Number one, management of work. Number two, management of people. Number three, management of operations. Management of work here means converting the total task, total work into the routine task. People means handling people as an individual as well as a group. And management of operation means handling different functional areas of management. Coming to the next, that is, it is a continuous process. Yes, management itself follows a managerial cycle which has a series of activities to be performed in a fixed places, which makes it never-ending process. Management is a group activity. Yes, the individual joining an organization through the managerial forces, their individual needs are being translated into organizational objective. Therefore, each individual has a significant contribution in the successful implementation of any organizational objective. Coming to the next, that management is an intangible force. Yes, as we cannot see management, but yes, its presence can be felt. If you see everything is properly done, employees are happy and satisfied. Coming to the next, management creates a dynamic function or is a dynamic function, which means every kind of change, whatever change is pertaining to an external environment, it is leading towards the betterment of the entire organization, and only management can help to adapt the changes taking in the external environment. The biggest example of the same is McDonald's. When McDonald's has come to India as a multinational corporation, it was not having any Mac Aloo Tikki in its menu. But when McDonald's has come to India, it has incorporated a different flavor in its menu, which is called Mac Aloo Tikki, because McDonald's has to survive in the changing environment, in the changing social environment of India, where people are vegetarian. Most of the people are vegetarian also. Hopefully, this is a complete topic which I have tried to explain with best of my effort. You're gonna appreciate it, and it's going to help you for a better understanding. Thank you, everyone.